The father of 3 children who lost their lives in a road accident breaks down and cries bitterly during their memorial service. It was just after midnight on January 4th, 2026, near NAIVASHA, Kenya, a stretch of road traveled by thousands every day connecting Nairobi to the Rift Valley. A hired public service vehicle, the family's transport that night, was moving along the highway as the family returned from visiting relatives and supporting a children's home they cared about. Then, without warning, a heavy trailer overtaking dangerously almost struck the vehicle head-on. In a desperate attempt to avoid a collision, the driver swerved, but the trailer hit the middle section of the vehicle, causing it to roll violently. Emmanuel, 13 years, and Cairo, 6, were killed either instantly or shortly after the impact. Their elder sister, Njeri, who was 16 years old, was critically injured and rushed first to a local hospital before being transferred to the Nairobi hospital. Despite emergency care and being placed in a medically induced coma, she died on January 16, 2026, days after the crash. In a single night, 3 bright young lives were extinguished. To truly understand the depth of this loss, we must know who these children were. Emmanuel de Leon, 13 years old, was an 8th grader at Hoover Middle School in Waterloo Lower, described by teachers as cheerful, optimistic, and someone who could brighten any room he entered. His classmates remembered him for his laugh and positive spirit. Cairo Winklepleck was 6 years old, a first grader at Royal Legacy Christian Academy, energetic and affectionate. Cairo's vibrant personality was loved by teachers, friends, and family. And then Jerry de Leon, who was 16 years old, a junior at West High School, Waterloo, recently a member of her school's cheerleading team, making her debut performance in the August 2025. Teachers described her as kind, caring, and thoughtful, a young woman with a smile that lit up faces around her. These children were full of life, each with a distinct personality, hopes, friendships, and community that they loved. The children were part of a Kenyan diaspora family living in Waterloo Lower. Their mother Wangui, also referred to as Leah in some fundraisers, and father Christopher de Leon had moved from the United States to Lower after earlier residence in New Jersey. They had strong ties to Kenya, visiting regularly and maintaining deep connections to family, community, and the children's cultural heritage. Their trip in December 2025 and early January 2026 was meant to be a celebration, a blend of holiday joy and family reunions. Instead, it became a parent's nightmare. The parents survived the crash with minor physical injuries, but the emotional devastation is beyond measure. They have remained in Kenya, surrounded by relatives and supporters as they navigate funeral arrangements and the impossible task of saying goodbye to their children. Funeral preparations began with the community gathering to support the bereaved family. Daily memorial services were held at the International Christian Church Center on Mombasa Road in Nairobi, where family and friends prayed together and offered comfort. On January 23, 2026, a memorial service was scheduled, followed by cremation at Kariako Crematorium the next day. Each service was filled with grief, the poignant silence of loss, punctuated by the sobs of relatives, the quiet prayers of friends, and the flicker of memories shared among mourners. Loved ones spoke of the children's dreams, their personalities, and how quickly life can change in an instant. In the aftermath of the tragedy, well-wishers across the world rallied to support the family. A GoFundMe page launched by family friend Lindy Maina aimed to raise funds to cover medical care, travel, and accommodation, as well as funeral expenses. The target was $70,000, which is equivalent to 9 million Kenyan shillings. Within weeks, more than 870 donations had poured in. raising over $66,000, which is 8.6 million Kenyan shillings, a testament to how the family grief touched hearts globally. Kenyan communities and the diaspora shared messages of condolence. Schools in Waterloo issued statements and held tributes. Friends and relatives described the children as bright, loving, and full of promise, heartbreaking reminders of what was lost. The accident also brings into sharp focus a broader issue. Kenya's roads are among the most dangerous in the world, with tens of thousands of lives lost annually due to reckless overtaking, speeding, driver fatigue, and lax enforcement of safety rules. Experts describe repeated patterns of dangerous overtaking, poor lane discipline, insufficient driver training, and inconsistent enforcement. This tragedy, claiming the lives of 3 young children, is not an isolated incident. It's a painful reminder of how fragile life is on heavily trafficked highways, where a split-second decision can have irreversible consequences. The father's tears were not just for the loss of his children, they were for all the moments never lived. Birthdays that will never come, graduation days that will never arrive, and the quiet moments of joy that now belong only to memory. This story is not about an accident, it's about the fragile beauty of life, the pain of loss that transcends borders, the shared humanity that binds us in grief. 3 children were lost, but their names, their laughter, and the love they inspired live on. And in that, there's both sorrow and a reminder of why every life matters. It's so painful for a parent to lose all your children in an accident. It's really, really painful for the parents of these children. And as a family, we should be praying for this family because they are going through a lot. I know they are going through a lot today, especially today on 23rd January 2025, as they are conducting a memorial service. It's a heavy day for the family. Let's keep praying for the family, and may the young souls rest in peace. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.